In the, I don't know, half a day that went by after my ride, when I got back from my ride, I didn't cover it, and the trees around here have started to weep. And so it has residue from the trees all over it. And of course, then I went out of town again for a few days, did not cover the bike, and now it's got even more. So, okay, fine. You know, it is what it is. You can see here, like, it's just got this all over it on the seat. So, okay, fine. I needed to give it a bath anyway. It was time. I got to clean the chain too. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off my motorcycle and get it just sparkling, shiny clean. I'm also going to get it up on a bike stand. And again, if I have time today, I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to clean the chain. That will set me up so that tomorrow I can go for a nice ride. So what am I going to do? I've got my bucket. I've got my hose so I can hose it down. I'm not going to use the part of this that will scratch the bike, obviously, but I needed a sponge. So anyway, I had this sponge, so I'm going to use the soft part if I need it. And then I'm also going to use Fabuloso. If you're not familiar with Fabuloso, it's fantastic. Now, ideally, I would use WD-40 or something like that. There are probably better things to use to clean your bike, but I'm not worried about using Fabuloso. It's wonderful. And I'll see how clean I get it. I get it as clean as I get it, and that's what it is. Then later today, I'll be hopefully putting it up on my bike stand. So I just got this. This is a Venom sport bike, universal fit rear, and it uses spools. So I'll also show you how to get this up on spools. I bought my spools. These are the Vortex spools. The bolts that come with this will not work for the Svartpilen. So I got the spools, so I had the spools, and then I ordered these bolts. We've got 2 different sizes of bolts. I'll walk through that again when it's time to get this set up on the bike. But you need one for the right and one for the left to get the spools on with the Svartpilen. I will put links in the description to the different parts that I used to get this up on the bike stand when I do that video. Now I'm just going to clean the bike. So I will let you know how it goes, and I'll see you later. Okay, so given the current state of cleaning it, and I'm not going to film the entire cleaning obviously, but first thing I'm going to do is just rinse it off. When I get this on my hands, it will just come off with water. So my hope is that I can get a lot of this off just by spraying down the motorcycle. And then of course, I've got my Fabuloso, I've got the spongy side of that, and I've got, you know, rags and things I can use. So we'll see. I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so I'm in the rinsing off process, and I've got this on my hose, right? And it sprays really nicely, so I'm really just getting right in there. And so, you know, you'd be surprised actually how much just water is going to help with this thing. And so this kind of extension, or if you've got one of those that looks more like a trigger, right, really helps with everything, mirrors, you name it. So this is actually working quite well. Once I'm done, I'm going to use the soap and a rag, just go over it, and then I'll give it another rinse. We'll see what it looks like. All right, well, I've done my power wash, and now I'm going to go around with some soap. But as I noted, right, what I was using is this, right, which has a jet spray attachment, and I essentially just power washed my Svartpilen. And but look, all that sap came off. I'm not feeling any of it anymore. Even on the seat was all sticky. It's not sticky anymore. The tail was all sticky. It was like pouring honey on your motorcycle and having a bunch of honey on it. All of that's gone. So I mean, really, I don't even need a degreaser or anything. This was like weeping trees, not really thick kind of sap kind of stuff. Now I'm gonna go over it with a rag and a sponge and some soap, and just, you know, refine it, because I certainly could call it done if I wanted to, but and I need to let it dry so that I can then get the cleaner and stuff for the chain. So I'm gonna need to let it dry at some point anyway before I get into the chain and all that, but it looks a lot better. And there's still like some, you know, bugs and stuff in some places, right? So again, if I just wanted to give it a little bit cleaner, I think this took me 10 minutes, 15 minutes of just being really, really intentional about spraying down every single part of this motorcycle. So I mean, it's gonna look great right now if I just let it dry, but of course I'm gonna give it a really thorough clean. So I'm gonna go around and just refine my cleaning and get this thing really spotless. Then I'll let it dry. I'll get it up on the bike stand and we'll do a cleaning of the chain. So I'll show you when I'm done, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, welcome back. So we're done. So I power washed it with the attachment, and then I went through it with soap and water, Fabuloso. Didn't use a degreaser or anything like that, right? So could I get it cleaner? Yes, if I used something a little bit different and really went after some specific parts that I wanted to clean. But you know, I got all the bugs off. I got all that sort of sap off as well. And I went through with a rag, you know, just to make sure I didn't get a bunch of spots as it was drying. But mirrors look great, right? Displays great. All this was covered with sap. It had like 1/8 of an inch of just like sap or, you know, weepy residue from the trees. So dries really fast. Of course it's sunny out, but ultimately it looks great. And now that it is clean and and I'm not gonna stick to the seat or the grips, and this whole bike was covered with that stuff. So it's nice and clean. If I really wanted to, I could hop on and give it a ride. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna get it up on a stand and clean the bike chain. But this is great. I'm really happy with the result. Got a nice clean bike, and I'm ready to ride. Thanks for watching. And you know, again, this was not really sap, I would say, but I've heard that WD-40 does a good job. So if you got to clean your motorcycle, sounds obvious, but you know, just give it a good rinse. Go back over it again, detail it as best you can, give it a final rinse, wipe it down, you know, dry it off. This was really fast. This took me probably, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, just because I took my time. But it was a lot of fun, and now it's got a nice clean bike. I just have to remember to cover it before it gets more of that tree sap, mildew, whatever, not mildew, but you know, residue on it. So now that it's clean, the last thing I need to do is let it fully dry, and then get the cover back on it so that I don't have that tree, you know, weep, the residue back on the bike. Now that I've spent the time to get it nice and clean and ready to ride, I've got to keep it clean. So this time of year, keep it covered. When in doubt, keep it covered. Most of those covers are fine. So like even when you get back from a ride and your bike is hot or warm, you know, still should be fine to get the cover on it. And you know, lesson learned for me, if your bike is dirty, it's going to be from something in the environment. Thanks for bearing with me here today, and happy riding.